Well, good Thursday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up those football gods here on this thirsty Thursday. Oh my God. Thursday? It's today. Finally Friday, Saturday, and then we have the tailgate. Woo-wee! The tailgate and the game on Sunday, and it has been built up bigger than any game we've had all season. Washington fans are excited. They're hungry. They want to get some Dallas Cowboys. They're screaming, "We want Dallas." They've been talking trash and taking names and everything else. I just hope that we can get in there and disappoint them. We're going to be there at FedEx Field, broadcasting live, of course, with a lot of you, the fans there. And I'm told, and I've been speaking with Mike Fisher, who is traveling, who's got his YouTube channel back, to the game, of course, with the team, that he's going to try and stop by and meet and greet with a lot of you great fans and stuff. So this is literally growing by the minute. So we got a lot of work to do, and I'll be working on getting all the tickets out today. I'm still waiting on one more set of tickets to come through, and then I can start seating everybody where they need to be seated. So with that being said, let's get on to topics for today. Just to kind of needle my buddy Philly 500, who said after they missed out on CeeDee Lamb and they ended up taking Rhaegar, he said he didn't want Justin Jefferson because, as I quote, he's ass. Well, Philly, big mistake. Big mistake. Most receiving yards, second-year wide receiver this year, Justin Jefferson, 1,209 yards. Michael Pittman, 882. CeeDee Lamb, 829. Yeah, I had to tell you, Philly, you guys suck when it comes to picking receivers. On other notes, the Cowboys will be getting back on the practice field today. Today's really the big practice because Friday is the recovery day as they prepare for the taking of the game. You know, some teams do things differently. They have Friday's practice as the big practice. The Cowboys, it's really Thursday is the big one. So we'll see what happens with Tony Pollard. He did not practice yesterday. He did work on the cords and things. Zeke, surprisingly, was a full participant in practice today. We'll see how that goes. This may be the healthiest that the Dallas Cowboys have been all year because we've got Neville Gallimore, we got Randy Gregory that are both in the window to be able to play this weekend. And because of that, Micah Parsons, who I have pissed off Eagle fans when I say, you know, it's possible if he gets 3 more sacks that he's up there with Reggie White's rookie 13 sacks. I've already said that his season has been Lawrence Taylor-esque. I didn't say that he's a Hall of Famer, Reggie White. I didn't say he's a Hall of Famer, Lawrence Taylor. I'm just comparing the rookie season because we haven't seen anything like Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons' role will change. He's like a chameleon because no matter what you need him to do, he will change to fit that. Because we had DeMarcus Lawrence out, and of course, you know, Randy Gregory missing time, he became our edge rusher and succeeded and did really well with 10 sacks in 12 games. That's phenomenal for an edge rusher, even more so for a linebacker playing an edge rusher. But now that D-Law is back and Randy Gregory is back, Micah Parsons will go back to the more traditional linebacker role with a few wrinkles. And as he put it, you know, I love coming off the edge, but when I get my 13 to 15 opportunities to come off the edge, I'm going to make the most of those opportunities. Now, this is where it's going to actually be really, really cool to see. Bad Dog's big thing with me was teams had to game plan against Lawrence Taylor. You had to say, I can't have that guy blow it up. Well, here's the wild card. The wild card is, like, where's Waldo? Where's Micah? Where's Micah? Because when you have Micah, is he going to be on the edge? Is he going to be a linebacker who's up in the A gap? Is he going to end up being on the outside of Randy Gregory? Because if you end up putting him on the outside of Randy Gregory, you could keep the tight end and the running back in there. That's a whole lot of speed coming off of one side. If you put him in the A gap to blitz between the center and the guard, and you got D-Law, who had 6 pressures on his first game back, and man-child Randy Gregory pushing steam from the outside, then all of a sudden you got him between the A gap. Somebody ain't getting blocked. Somebody ain't getting blocked. And if you're the quarterback and you look over and see DeMarcus Lawrence to the left, Randy Gregory to the right, and Micah Parsons literally right there, you might shit your pants. You might shit your pants. And see, here going forward, here's where I have always been on the bandwagon about one technique, guys, and getting pressure in the middle. I have been, I was a nose guard. We don't call them nose guards anymore, but I lined up over the center. You have to understand the role that plays. If you can get pressure up the middle, if you can hold the line, it makes it hard to run. The quarterback doesn't have a clear vision of the field, and he can't step up in the pocket. And that makes those guys on the outside more effective. And if you can do that consistently, especially with your front four, understand, if you have DeMarcus Lawrence, Neville Gallimore, Carlos Watkins, and Randy Gregory going against those 5 offensive linemen and being able to beat them, to put pressure on, that leaves 7 guys in the secondary. That leaves a Micah Parsons who can blitz, make it a 5-man front, where you still have 6 guys that are going in there. That'll make teams say, we have to keep the tight end in to help block or at least chip on the edge on one of these edge rushers. That means we got to keep the running back in here to help block because we're getting steam. Ultimately, if you can put pressure on without blitzing, you're going to be successful because the quarterback will not get comfortable. The quarterback will not have that extra time to find that receiver or for that deep route to come open. And you have numbers on your side as a defense. You can double team the number 1 guy, maybe even double team the top 2 guys. But all of those things open up the field for the defense. And that's something that we have yet to have this year. Our defense, make no mistake about it, is night and day, head and shoulders better than what it was last year. But getting this much firepower on the defensive line is going to make it that much better. I literally cannot wait to see that. And we're going to finish off this morning because I've got a lot of stuff to do. I got to start getting the tickets out. I've got to go over to FedEx Field because I want to do a test run of the equipment and stuff to make sure the television and everything is going to be good to go. But I wanted to listen to the playmaker this morning who has what the Cowboys need going down the stretch run. Let's listen to him on 105 The Fan. Shout out to them.
What were you talking to Dak about on the sideline that you can share?
The most important thing that I think we need to gather. I had already heard that Dak was very upset because Dak's a perfectionist. He's a perfectionist. He wants to be great at everything, and he's he drives himself. And I was like, that's a great thing. But I heard he was really upset with his win, with the way he had played, and he wasn't happy because the offense didn't do what they needed to do. My experience, I thought I needed to share something with Dak here. So I said to Dak, I said, hey, when I grabbed him on the side, I said, hey, listen, You may not be totally happy. I can get it. I get it. You can go and work on that. But right now, we just had 3 of the last 4 weeks, we were down. I mean, we lost 3 of the last 4 games. And do you know what it's like when you lose a game? Mm-hmm. The locker room, if you guys been around the locker room, it's dead. Everybody is worrying, and all you're doing is regurgitating all the bad stuff, and the coaches are overcoaching. I told you to go 15 yards. You went 13 and a half just for it. And the players are coming back to the locker room like, man, coach tripping, man. What on? You know what I mean? All of that goes on in the locker room when you're losing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I said to Dak, Dak, I understand you're not happy, but we need to have that good feeling in the locker room again. We got to win. We're getting a win. Mm-hmm. Let's make sure we're feeling good again. Let's get back to feeling like we were feeling in the early part of the season where you're feeling good in the locker room. Now, Deion was saying stuff. When Deion said, you look good, you feel good, you play good, you play good, you pay good. It's some reality to that.
Yeah.
It's some reality to that. You know what I mean? And it's biblical. As a man thinketh, so is he. It's biblical. So I was telling Dak, let's not get overly crazy about this game. This is a great win. Let's get in the locker room and have some fun. Let's get back to that good feeling again, because we need that going to the stretch run. You don't want to go into the stretch run thinking, oh, man, we're still not playing right. We're still not doing this. Let's start projecting good things. And I believe he received that, because he said, I never thought about that, Mike. I got you. You're right. You know what I mean? We needed to feel good about it. We need to feel good about that win.
But it wasn't a good win, Mike. It wasn't a great win. That was a frustrating win. No.
Sean, do you hear what you just said?
Yeah.
What in the hell is how can you put your mouth, let your lips touch each other, and come out saying it wasn't a good win?
They got lucky.
What the hell is not a good win?
They got lucky that Taysom Hill threw him 4 picks. This offense is still not playing well. They couldn't stop Taysom Hill running. I mean, I'm not feeling great about them as an elite contender, and I was hoping I would after the other night.
And that's what I'm saying. You're hitting exactly what I'm talking about. You're not going to feel great when you don't feel great.
Yep.
I need them to get back to feeling great
so
they can really feel great and play great. It's not going to come separate of each other. I'm telling you, and remember when I told you guys every time we lost in twos, and I could never figure it out. I was trying to pull us out of it. I could never figure it out. This is what it was. Because we would lose one game, and then we go into the next week feeling bad about the last game, and overthinking, overanalyzing, over-breaking it down, and we lose the next game. Until we have to come out of that funk, and we had to come out of the funk with the way we feel before we hit the field to feel better about it. I'm telling you, man, And when I told Dak that, that's exactly where we need to be. We need to get back. And because it's Dallas, and everybody talks about us so much, when you lose a game or you don't play great, everybody's pointing out every situation and every issue, as opposed to taking it as a win. We have to we have to monitor this and make sure you receive the victory and try to get yourself feeling good again, like we were in the beginning of the season. We're on the stretch 5 right now. It usually be last 4 games of the season, but since it's the extra game, I like to call it now the stretch 5. And we got to get back to where you were in the beginning of the year.
Amen.
To make for this stretch 5 as you head into it.
Michael Irvin, the Playmaker, joined us here at 105 through the Fan. Jerry kind of, I don't want to say threw him under the bus, but intimated that the wide receivers may not be running the best routes, and that's what makes Dak look like he's inaccurate. How much of that actually happens where, the quarterback's missing throws, and in reality, maybe it's just the wide receivers aren't running, the routes at the right depth or being where the QB expects them to be?
Well, yeah, that's a hell of a question. Because, because everything is set. Okay, if I'm going to run a 4 route, I got to run a 20-yard in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to measure 20 yards. But if there's my depth of my route, according to the timing of Troy drops back, is when I get to 20 yards, I cut across. I should catch that ball about 2 yards inside the numbers when Troy throws it. He doesn't even have to see when he throws it. He should be able to throw it right there. That's where I should be, if all things are clean. But if there's somebody in front of me and they're pressing me, now the 20 yards may come to 19. Or they even be 18 yards, because it depends on how much time I spend at the line of scrimmage getting off the ball before I get into their route. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I have to measure how many yards did that time take at the line of scrimmage that I have to take off at the top of this route. If I spend too long here, I got to take 2 yards off. If I didn't spend too long, I maybe take 1 yard off. But I got to make sure the timing is correct. So that's why I say it's a tough question, a hard question, because there's so many variables that change things that you ultimately set. We set the parameters. I'm going to drop back these many steps. You're going to run a 20-yard square in. But then the variables may happen. Somebody pressed me. You know what I mean? When Troy took the snap, somebody blitzed him. All of these things change the routes. So when Jerry said they're having issues, that's so hard to determine without understanding all the variables that are going on the football field.
Great interview by RJ and Shine on the Fan. And, that's the thing on football. You want to get back to having fun. And, as much as people will say, well, that victory wasn't as pretty as you would like. Was New England's games pretty, their victory on Monday night against the Bills, was that pretty? Or was it a win? Because the last time I checked, when I look at the standings, it says 8 victories and 4 losses. It doesn't say, 4 good victories and 4 not so good victories. Each one of those count exactly the same. So I'm okay. I'm okay that we got the victory, because I want you to understand, as much as they try to tell you that, oh, it's terrible, you have to look at the circumstances. As bad as people will say that our offense played, understand that you were playing on the road, which is hard to win in the NFL, in one of the hardest places to play against a very good defense. This wasn't like you went to Jacksonville and were playing the Jacksonville Jaguars and scored 6 points like Josh Allen and the Bills did. You were going against a formidable defense on the road after having 3 games in 12 days. Football is a draining sport, and the Cowboys have done so many different lineup changes, so many players that have been in and out with COVID, with injuries and things like that. The consistency hasn't gotten back there yet. Hopefully we'll see some of that start to get back together, since we had the extra days before this game to let guys heal up, let people get back on pace, let people start getting used to being out to play, and getting the extra players back that we need. Tyron Smith, of course, had a few extra days to heal on that foot. Zeke Elliott had some extra time with the knee. You've got DeMarcus Lawrence, who's out there, who played a really good game, his first game back, getting 6 pressures, and now having the luxury of having Micah Parsons, who could play who knows where. He'll be the mystery guy. He'll be Houdini. He'll be doing a disappearing act and reappearing at a different spot. So I can't wait to see how this all goes. But anyway, we got a lot of work to do. And like I said, the tickets, don't panic, people. Don't panic. The tickets, I'll be working on getting it out today. I've got to call my man Joe and get that squared away to make sure I've got all the tickets and stuff. And that's all I got for you. And you know how we roll.
Our Colts here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe for the Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about this, Cowboys?